Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. It's been a little bit. I've had some technical difficulties with my camera, but I think it's working now. So I figured I would take advantage of the electricity since after we've had a couple nights of storms and blackouts. And I actually had a couple other videos shot previously around Thanksgiving time. Couldn't get them up. Certain things I've realized were damaged about them, so I have to reshoot some of that stuff. But more on that later. Today is Christmas. And so I do have a family a gathering to get to, so I don't have a lot of time. But I thought I might take some time to get a quick one up and out. So without any further delay, I wanted to get to today's movie, which is Home Alone. Let's talk about it. This is a movie I don't think I've ever discussed on this channel, but I figured it was high time. It's not one I watch every year for Christmas, but every now and again, the last few years recently, on and off, it's come up to watch. And its sequel, Home Alone 2. You may also know about Home Alone 3 and 4, but if you are true fans, you probably don't mess with the last two. Home Alone 1 and 2 are the ones you mess with. To this day, I have never seen Home Alone 3 or Home Alone 4. And from what I understand, it's probably better that way. No disrespect for anyone who enjoys Home Alone 3 and 4. I've never seen them again, but I might make it a point to watch it just out of curiosity. We all know how much I'm willing to torture myself because I'm curious about something. So that may be in the cards down the line. But today, our discussion remains contained to the original Chris Columbus directed Home Alone. If by some wild chance you don't know what this movie is about, it's about a family, the McAllisters, who around at Christmas time are planning on heading out away from their home to Paris, France, for Christmas. They do succeed in doing that. The only problem is they've left young Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin, home alone. And if that weren't enough, the McAllister home is threatened by two bandits, played by Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci. Marv and Harry, they are the wet bandits. And they are on a spree of thievery and damaged property. And they have their sights set on the McAllister home. But they are sadly unprepared for the security system that home has in the form of young Kevin McAllister. So over the course of 2/3 of the movie, while Kevin is figuring out his time alone and enjoying it at first, he does come to miss his family. And when he understands that his home and possibly himself is a target, he has to do what he must to protect his home. And that's the sort of gist of the movie. This is a childhood classic for me, and it's equally funny. It's just as funny as it was when I first watched it. This time, though, I admit I didn't laugh. I did laugh. I did laugh. I didn't laugh as much, and I think I was doing more thinking this time than I ever previously had while watching this movie. And one of the things that came up for me while just watching the interactions and stuff was that Kevin is not really as much of a jerk as his family's making out to be. Sure, he might be a smart aleck. He might have he might be a little bit annoying as youngest siblings tend to be. But he was nowhere near as bad, as I think his family was making him out to be. He was speaking about the injustice, really, about of his cheese pizza not being, he didn't have any cheese pizza. Like, what's going on? People taking his cheese pizza and stuff like that. He's like the little, he's like the runt that everyone is just like picking on and or not really respecting as a human. Like what his wants and needs were kind of put to the back burner. So he had to. This is my feeling after this viewing. That might change next time I watch it, but for some reason this time these things felt prominent to me. Kevin was acting out to get himself, like, to get to, so that he's respected. He wasn't being respected. And so I've never thought about this before, but I think this time made me think, you know what? Kevin is not a jerk, actually. He's he's being ignored. He's just kind of like, he's, especially, before everyone leaves. And so you kind of understand him wanting everybody to be gone so he can have some peace and not have to be like bossed around by everybody. Like most kids feel this sometimes when they have some hard times with family, and particularly around the holidays. There are exceptions. We're not saying everybody has this type of dynamic, but generally speaking, which I think why Christmas movies work, because they deal with the stress of not only the time of the year, but the stress that it can put on families and the stress that communities at large can also experience. People are more aggressive when they're driving. People are just, not always kind when they're shopping at the grocery stores or at the toy stores even. And so all of that kind of stress type of stuff is can be found in the McAllister home on Christmas Eve. And especially this is the night before they leave. And it's not just Kevin and his immediate family. His extended family is there. His Uncle Frank and his wife and his cousins. Everybody's there. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. And so little Kevin is just trying to exist, get through the night. So yeah, I don't believe Kevin's a jerk. So look what you did, you little jerk. That is a quote that my family or my brothers, we toss around sometimes. And so whenever I think of it, it makes me laugh. And so of course, when I saw it this time, it did get a laugh out of me. And it's not even when it first happens, because if you notice, Uncle Frank says it differently. There's two ways Uncle Frank says it. There's a look what you did, you little jerk, at the table. And then when Kevin is remembering all the horrible things his family has told him when they're gone, there's the look what you did, you little jerk. That's both of them are funny in their own ways, but I laugh each time. And that second one is particularly funny because it's like this internal. It's almost like this whisper, like it hit. And that, why is that the last one? That's the last one that Kevin hears. That is in his soul. Look what you did, you little jerk. And if I'm honest, watching it this time, I have felt like Kevin as a kid, but also as an adult when you're dealing with family stuff and you're having a hard time around holiday time or whatever, and someone says something that's on its own not particularly hurtful, but it can get into your system and it's just like ringing it, and then you just want to like, you know what, skip all this. I'm not trying to, forget this. I'll see you guys later. Like that's the feeling. So I was with Kevin, man. I was all the way. Like separately, the other thing that's always cool and always touching about this movie whenever I watch it is the family dynamic with John Hurd and Catherine O'Hara. They just seem like just normal and like relatable parents. But more than that, the other layer that's really, I think that really sells that really makes the stuff, the scenes away from Kevin with his family more meaningful is the interactions with John Candy and Catherine O'Hara. I love their conversations, and John Candy's again, if you know me, I've mentioned John Candy a couple times on this channel. He's just the like, I don't know how you would not like John Candy as a human, as a spirit. He just brings such light and a warmth to the proceedings, especially a lot of the John Hughes films that I've seen. He was in Uncle Buck. It's another one of those. Probably my favorite John Candy movie. I have to talk about that on this channel. I know for a fact I have not discussed that movie on this channel, but I want to get to that. And he's just as sweet here, even if he's a little awkward and he's a little, but his heart's in the right place. And I think that's the big thing about this movie at large. It has not only does it have a heart, it has a heart that's just firmly centered in the right place, which is perfect for Christmas holiday movies, like a holiday feel. That's the kind of thing that, even if a holiday movie is not to your liking, I think if they have a heart that's in the right place, that makes you feel like how you grew up feeling about the holidays in the best ways, then a holiday movie can win. I think that's how Home Alone wins for that reason. There's multiple pockets of that in this movie, but especially when John Candy pops up, and anytime you see him in the movie, it really works, and it's instantly softening. In the scene he appears, I was having rough internal feelings, and when I saw him, it warmed my spirit like hot chocolate. The other section where there's that heart piece that feels perfect is where Kevin is having the conversation with the older gentleman in his neighborhood who, like, scary stories are going on around the neighborhood about him. It's such a beautiful interaction at the church where he's watching his granddaughter sing. It's just such I love it. And then when Kevin is talking to one of Santa's agents, that's also great. And then lastly, the moment Catherine O'Hara comes home, and when she and Kevin come together for that hug, it always makes me tear up. It's just such a beautiful, after all this stuff, all these shenanigans, just beautiful. And it's a great end to the movie. We have to also talk about Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. They are, I think the movie just wouldn't work as well without them. If they, and it's not just that, because they're good actors. There's something cartoonish and like silly about them as villains, and yet you don't discount it. You don't take it unseriously. There's a degree of seriousness that's there, but it's still fun, and that's the key. That's the key to their characters. They're both having fun in the roles, and yet they are. You can tell as actors, they understood what the roles were. They didn't make it like this Shakespearean situation, like it has this extra weight, but they have enough weight that make them feel like a threat to an 8-year-old kid. And they don't allow that to impede on them having fun in the roles. That's why it works. And especially, I was thinking about this last night when I was watching it. As great as the first 2/3 of the movie is, it's really just the setup. It's set up for that last third. When anybody talks about Home Alone, you don't really think about the family stuff. You don't think about the heartwarming stuff. It's about how Kevin protects his home. Any other movie that references Home Alone, I've seen 3 other holiday movies this year that all have some Home Alone reference. And what that really is, the core of the references is the booby trapping of the home in some way, using some kind of everyday item to inflict some kind of pain on somebody. And that's really when people talk about what Home Alone is. Of course, it's deeper than that, but any Home Alone reference is that. You tell me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Just from the movies that I've seen this holiday season, the holiday movies I've seen this holiday season, a couple of them, they've all mentioned Home Alone in the context of booby trapping your space. That's really what the movie is building up to. I can remember as a kid that all the other stuff didn't matter as much. Of course, you felt for Kevin's mom and the family, because once they recognized that Kevin wasn't there, this is a hard situation, and you can see just from a emotional perspective, like that's for real. Like that's the real thing. It just happens to be going on with some silliness and stuff that kind of lightens the proceedings. You don't feel the weight as you might if this were a dramatic movie, but there is weight there. Make no mistake. But none of that stuff mattered as much as Kevin using micro machines, using paint cans, BB guns, all the stuff that it's really like it's a kid's fantasy, really. Especially as a kid, that was like the best. That was really why you watched Home Alone. We rewatched Home Alone for those moments. The same thing with Lost in New York. It's really about how he gets back at the Sticky Bandits. Even though as I get older, I come to appreciate more the family dynamic and the heartwarming elements of the movie, which I still do. I love that about this movie. I also still from a nostalgic perspective, still love how Kevin protects his home. The other thing we have to talk about is the music. John Williams' music. It's so definitive of a time. Like he's defined a lot of people's childhoods, a lot of generations. And you hear, and I think specifically from this movie onward up to Harry Potter, you can hear a lot of Harry Potter. You can hear where Harry Potter is in there. It's different, but it's there. You can hear where things could transition into Hedwig's theme, and it's kind of cool. I hear that with Hook. You can hear it in a lot of movies, and it's just such a definitive piece of this movie, and helps it feel like it's almost like a Christmas score in that way. It feels like Christmas. The music feels like Christmas in the ways it might, like opening your presents for Christmas or whatever. There's something really sweet about that. And then I think lastly, one of the best things still to this day about this movie is the Angels with Filthy Souls, 1940s fake movie that was made specifically for Home Alone. For years, I never knew that. I thought that was a real movie. I think I'm more a fan these days. It's still funny. That whole sequence is still funny. Both times it comes up. And I think they knew what they had, because the amount of times that film pops up in this movie shows me that they also appreciated that movie. Why not? Well, you want to show it off. You want to show that off. Something that's that well made, even for a snippet. You gotta, if you want to, you have to use it as often as you can. So technically, the technical aspects of it is that much cooler to me. Like how they shot it. It was shot and produced essentially like, it feels like, I don't know all the ins and outs of the backstory behind Angels with Filthy Souls, but it feels like it was made in almost exactly the same way it would have been made in the 1940s. And even to how the actors in the scene are acting, the way they deliver lines sound like they would have been delivered in the 1940s. It's how the scene was shot, how it was lit, the framing of it. It was just like, oh, that's amazing. That's great. Excellent. I love that about this movie. And I love that there's another version in Home Alone 2. Like it may not be as good as the first one, but Home Alone 2 is still, Lost in New York is still pretty tight. Like it's still pretty good. In fact, I think I'm definitely gonna have to talk about that on this channel before the holiday season ends. This movie's great. Yes, a lot of that comes from a nostalgic position, but I've seen it enough as an adult that I can appreciate it from a writing standpoint too, and a directorial standpoint. I think Chris Columbus has a steady hand that obviously reminded me of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, how that was directed and how it felt. There's something about that. There's some similarities in terms of the helming of these two movies. I think also from a writing standpoint, John Hughes is great. Obviously, as much as it is a Chris Columbus sort of vehicle, it is also just as much a John Hughes situation. It feels like John Hughes' spirit is in here too. It's a cool collaboration between those two, and I think the result is just there's a magic about it, and in a way that you don't question. And in that way, it feels like a true Christmas movie. There are things that happen in the movie that are not fully explainable, like the Kevin going down in the basement, and the furnace has like it's not like you don't know. You're not thinking about whether or not that's real. Is Kevin imagining it? Is it a whatever? He might be. It depends on how deeply you want to think about it. But there's something about that. It just that, especially if you're a kid, I think even as an adult, you just take it at face value. That furnace probably did have, some kind of magic that allowed it to talk. And only Kevin was the one that experienced it, which is why he never went down there. But stuff like that. And the fact that he gets away with stealing that toothbrush and the cop never catches him and no one catches him. There's no recompense for that. That's okay. This is that it was almost fun. Like for him running away from the cop and like sliding on his knees at the ice rink or whatever it is. Like there's a fun to it. It's not meant to be taken super seriously. And I kind of like that. There's a magic in that. And so, given all that, even as an adult, that still speaks to me. And if you haven't seen Home Alone yet this year, it is Christmas Day. What are you doing? Why are you waiting? Get on it and watch Home Alone because it's tight. All right, that's going to do it for me. I got to get out of here, get going. But thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate you coming back and watching. And stay tuned. Some more holiday movies coming up and just more other movies coming up. I got some other reviews that I've done and a lot of other movies I've seen. So there's plenty to talk about. So in the meantime, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope you all are enjoying a wonderful, pleasant, safe time with your families. And that's going to be it. I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one.